Okay. Alright, I think I have set a new record for how fast I get to actually working on the page when I'm on stream. So, let's go here, and okay, there we go. Open up a new folder, and shrink this down a bit so that I can see the actual chat box on the side. Well, I guess we can expand this. There we go, that's better. Okay, so how is everybody doing today? Welcome to the latest page of my comics. Let's put in another layer. Switch over to this color. And fill... no, that's not right. Go here, fill in the background with white, so that I can actually see the thing that I'm drawing on. If you've been following these streams forever, you know the process for getting started up on these. Fill in a white background, make the upper layer translucent, and then put in all these blacks. And thankfully, with what we found from the previous stream, this will hopefully go a lot quicker now, since the fill-in bucket will actually fill things in after years of having it not do that completely. I imagine that's going to save quite a bit on production time as the years go on. It's getting cooler outside now. I think it's in the lower 70s today. It had rain in the forecast, but I have not seen any of that yet. Let's see about turning up the music a tiny bit. I think it might be a bit too quiet. Yeah, that should be about good, I think. For anyone returning from... well, I said the previous stream for, the fill bucket thing. I meant like 2 streams ago for that, but the previous comic making stream. But for anyone that was here the previous stream that I just did the other day, you may notice this music is from the game that we just played, which is another Metroid 2 remake. It's just a nice little ambient tune, the one that plays at, I believe it's the hydro station, before you turn all the power on and stuff. I'm sure as the stream goes on, we can get to the version that does have the power turned on, which is a lot more upbeat, but still rather ambient. I always find it nice to draw to ambient music. It provides a good atmosphere for that type of activity. Also helps to get the mind going in farther reaches of creative exploration. let me see here. Yeah, I've never been one for the dead heat of summer. I've always preferred the coolness of the later seasons. I don't know if it has to do anything with it, but part of me chalked it up to me being born in the fall. That is my favorite time of year. October 25th is my birthday. I am canonically 6 days older than Noodle from the Gorillas, I think. Yeah, because that's the 31st. Then my birthday is the 25th. So yeah, I'm 6 days older than her. Oh, and for those that said happy birthday to my mom on Discord, she says thank you. Yeah, I was thinking that the audience might have actually been able to hear Mama Edward back during the Mega Man 03 Let's Play when she called during the beginning of the final boss battle. But from what I've been able to hear on those videos, it's all you can really hear is just me responding to her. So if I do make proper videos out of those Let's Plays someday, I'll probably animate it as having like Animal Crossing sound effects for when she's talking. Feels like a cute way to do that. And also I've seen the Party Crashers do that in their videos, so yeah, that's where the idea comes from there. I hadn't really planned to do another Metroid game after Metroid Zero Mission for my Let's Plays. But it felt like, yeah, it's a game I could play in another Metroid 2 remake. And it keeps it consistent with, like, going forward after it, connecting from Zero Mission's graphics to Super Metroid's graphics. Which I guess I probably will end up Let's Playing the other main Metroid games up to Fusion at this point, because it's like, I've done half of them, so I may as well do the other two. Oh, right. Let me see here. What was it? 169.2. Let's go 0.9. Will that work? Or will this just flood the entire screen with black? No, that works. So that floods the entire screen. Oh, I did not want that. 169... 170. Oh. Okay. No, don't do that. Why did you zoom in? 170.3. Whoa, that's way too big of a number. 170.3. There. And zoom back out. I'm just experimenting with how... Yeah, I figured that would be too much. Just experimenting 170.2. That's still too much. 170.1. Too much. So, just 170. 170 is how high you can get the fill-in tool before it's like it can't handle it anymore and just floods the entire screen with black. Alright, well, for future Edward's sake, remember, it is 170 is the limit of the fill bucket threshold. Yeah, comic making is just a constant learning process. No matter how much time goes on, there's always new stuff to tamper around with and figure out and take note of. And nothing is set in stone when it comes to the creation process of anything. Technically, as long as you have some kind of utensil, technically if you have a piece of paper, you don't even need a utensil, you just need a material to make something out of. You can figure out a way to do stuff. But Edward would not be one to make comics out of, like, his blood and cutting the paper with his nails and stuff. That's a bit excessive. I do much more prefer having just normal tools to work with. I've never made a, I don't think I've ever made a digital comic before. It's always been a bit too hard for me, though Masasa was telling me that there's some sort of line tool that you can just, like, I think, click a point, and it makes a line, and I never knew that. That sounds like it could make the process easier for doing a digital comic, because that was always the main problem to me with doing a digital comic, is it took forever to make the panel lines. Whereas with the comics I do, these comics, all I do is just take a ruler and a pencil and just make a straight line with that in my sketchbook. Blah, bloody blue, blah blah blah, Edward talking. Yeah, I was talking on the Resident Evil board today. And every time someone talks about Code Veronica, and how it was like, they think it was going to be Resident Evil 3, and then there was the whole title changing for the series in that point, and I always end up wasting like an hour going back through all the information I've collected over the years, trying to find where, like, Kamaya has said what the actual production of 4 and 3 was and all that. It's always such a big time waste because I just don't have it memorized amidst all the other stuff I have in my head. But yeah, no, it's always been a huge misconception that Code Veronica was meant to be Resident Evil 3, and then 3 was a side game that got turned into 3, which it was. Resident Evil, what the final version of Resident Evil 3 is, started as a side game called Resident Evil 1.9. That was more of just a supplemental material kind of game for the fans of the series more than anything, from what I remember. I think it was Mikami said that. And, but Code Veronica was never going to be 3. No one's asking this, but I am just speaking because it is on my mind right now. But, Code Veronica was a title that was made somewhat as an apology from Capcom for not managing to port Resident Evil 2 to the Sega Saturn. And what was 3 originally ended up becoming 4, because when it was either Sony or Capcom wanted a trilogy for the PlayStation 1, so they ended up turning 1.9 into 3, and then what was Resident Evil 3 ended up becoming Resident Evil 4, which then ended up becoming Devil May Cry. And then they moved on to the Castle version of 4, and then the final version of 4. But, it's just always been a big misconception in the gaming community in general that, Code Veronica was meant to be 3, and it was going to be a numbered title originally, but it never was. It was just Code Veronica. Wonderful way to start off the drawing stream by talking about stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the comics I make. Although I guess that's probably half the streams at this point, and kinda just ramble on about whatever. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, Veronica's still the best game in the Resident Evil series, arguably, to me. Very dry bread that I have right here. Just to say stuff about the comic page, we are continuing on from the previous one. Obviously, that is how comics work. And Doko is very aggravated, so he's firing an energy blast again. Except this time, the Claw is not trying to dodge anything. He has just had enough of it and slices the energy blast with his claw, completely negating any effectiveness that Doko's attacks would have on him. And it splits off into 2 parts, one going up into the air, and the other going towards where the announcer is, and just blasts the wall behind him. Then the other one soars over the crowd, over the audience, and slams into Claw Kid's statue, knocking his arm off. Yeah, I felt that would be a cute little way to relate the damage back to the match by having it hit his statue. Yeah, it kinda goes in line with Claw Kid, or the Claw, not caring really about the tournament. He's just here to fight Doko. And Doko it seems like Doko is not is losing most of his footing that he might have against the claw at this point. But he's still going. That is our Doko. Yeah, Doko's a character that no matter what, he will keep going towards his objective. Like, you could break his body and he would probably still be trying to help others or save the day or stop the bad guy. Right now, the objective is just to beat the opponent in this tournament that Doko always wanted to be in. Which it's looking less and less like he has as much of a chance of doing that as this goes on. I haven't shown any of the flashbacks of his and Stacy's childhood yet, but they did used to watch the tournaments together on TV. And Bobo. Alright. Well, I guess, now that I have a way to properly fill in the black areas, after so many years, after like 12 years of working on this comic, guess I can afford to do some of the black areas of the audience while I'm on stream this time. I've done them before, but I don't always do them because it does take up quite a bit of time that's just spent looking at the audience. It's not actually looking at the exciting stuff. It's just, oh my god, it's another shocked expression from an audience member. I can get this in any episode of Dragon Ball. It is important to show the reactions during these fights, but I will be happy once I am done having to draw these, this arena and all the characters in it over and over and over again. I did not realize going into this how often I would be having to draw the crowds and everything. And it's not like it's actually interesting background stuff that's like, well, it's interesting, but it's not like it's always the same thing. It's not changing like in other parts of the series. It's just, here's an audience thing again, set right over the wall again. Yeah, this setting is not the best when it comes to variety, but it does provide the effective visuals that this type of a story requires. It would suck to just have, like, well, there's just the wall here, and all you see is a white background behind the characters for pages and pages on end. Not sure what my favorite comic so far would be when it comes to the visuals. I improved on the visuals as the series went on. Because in the earlier comics, there is like, it's either no backgrounds a lot of times, or it's not nearly as good of backgrounds, either composition-wise or just flat-out talent-wise. I love the backgrounds that I did for Fightful Horizons when they first get to the tournament, and you see all the, like, fairgrounds and everything, and all the dragon kites being pulled through the streets and all that. Very festive type of atmosphere and aesthetic. I do like the servo seas, but there's just a lot of water in it. But I did quite a bit of work on Rascal and Sprite's little pirate ship they have, their turtle-looking vessel. I remember I was trying to keep track of where the rooms were when the ship got cracked in half, and you could see, like, the interior of it. Like, let me see if I can find that. Please don't freeze just because I'm going on the internet stream. Be merciful to Edward. I'm always prepared for the worst, though. This computer and connection and the programs I run are not ever... Oh, see? The music just glitched out for a second. Let me see here. Servo Cs. Ooh, I like that one. It's got, like, it's got Emperor Illuminator down here with all the shadows that I put on him and stuff. I always love putting in those types of shadows, but it's not all that often that you really get to have an environment that gives that kind of shadow. It's more during the intense stuff. And doing all those shadows is a lot more work than just doing just the normal character and everything. Oh. I only did about 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only did about 5 or 6 pages in color, I think. No. Probably more like 7 pages in color for that comic. Yeah, I remember when I was doing the Servo Cs, I was coloring it in the garage back in Iowa. 'Cause I remember this one, this page. I remember painting this crouched over a box back in the garage in Iowa. And I think I was recording it for some making of videos. It's Rascal and Kaylee Servo, the rival pirates to the Diabolic Angels, having this big battle as they fall through the ruins of the Diabolic Angel ship. But let's see, where is... Is it... There's their ship. Where is it cracked in half, though? I think that's one page. I'm looking for... Here it is! No. That's another... Why is Edward wasting time with this? It's not like the audience wants to see this. But it is my video, so I'm just... Here it is! This is the page where I was like... After this page, I always kept trying to keep track of where each chamber in their ship was as you see the ship sinking throughout the issue. Oh. There's a... You never really get to see Sprite like that. She has her helmet off, but she has, like, her armor bra and her leg and arm armor on. Though you don't get to see her from the front like that, I don't think. Let me see here. Yeah, she puts it on, like, immediately after on the next page. But yeah, every